for tuning in there. Hopefully, you enjoyed our episode there with Raven Lynette, our guest for this week on the podcast. There, so we're just obviously you can tell I'm not in the studio there today, behind the bar, hanging out there. So Raven's we're gonna try to get Raven here in a few minutes. There, hopefully, we're trying this that YouTube feature that has the ability to join a guest in with a live stream and so forth. So we'll just hang out for a little bit and kind of see what happens here. So hopefully, yeah, hopefully you got a chance to check out that episode there, the live premiere there in the chat there with Raven. She was really great to ask some questions to, you know, kind of learn about what she does and go from there. So, and I think here she is. Here she is. There you are.
Hi.
Hey. All
I was
right.
like, how does this work?
So yeah, so this is. I mean, obviously you saw from this. I'm obviously not in the studio there behind the bar. I was just saying here. I started the live stream here. I said it looks like a hotel room. So it's like that doesn't look like his normal place here with all the cool stuff. So I'm on the road traveling, and I hate to miss a Thursday on the live stream. Well, creating content, you got to be consistent and
Yeah.
don't, the thirst for content. So yeah, well, thanks again for joining the live. This is what we call it's a little scaled down version. So when you come to Florida, we're gonna have a full blown version of the biggest happy hour in a half an hour.
Cool. So is this like part of like your Patreon thing?
So this is see this I just give stuff away for free. So I need lessons here, Raven. You need to teach me how to content monetize. So now this has typically been like I think it's always started out as a half an hour show. Of course, I usually sometimes will run over a half an hour. Tonight, I'm definitely gonna keep it to a half an hour. And
Mhm.
the whole concept was we get you in, we get you out. It's 30 minutes a happy hour. And I said, well, after 30 minutes, maybe what I should do is move the anything after 30 minutes to Patreon and have a little bit more fun and get a little bit more looser. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, you've at least talked to me a little now, obviously the podcast, and we've chatted some stuff. You saw some of the content I share on Instagram in the morning, and I don't know how much looser I'm gonna. I mean, it could be dangerous, I guess, really, if I get any more looser than that. So, but yeah, that's not a bad idea. Maybe I gotta move over to the Patreon stuff and so forth. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, yeah, no, thanks again. It's tomorrow. I guess it's not easy being green. I'm gonna pop open. I'm not wearing. Well, this is olive. I think this is olive color, so it's close to
Yeah.
green. Yeah, I've got a Guinness. So there you yeah. So yeah, I saw some of the comments there in the chat that a lot of people were learning some new, things, and so I think there's always a curiosity that those that it's there's and like you said, everyone, I think you mentioned it, and everyone probably looks at content, uh, but never. Some are prudish enough not to admit it, you know,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and then some are like interested in like just in how it goes about or the and I guess the question that I had, I didn't get a chance to ask in the chat is, and again, I didn't want to interrupt. It was Nia's interview, and but why? I guess the definition of sex worker. I know you use that term, and I was a little. I guess I wasn't familiar with it. Maybe I wouldn't consider what you do as sex work. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean the term is broader, I think, than most people like think it is.
Okay.
But so like if you're talking about like from a business standpoint and like processing payments, like the stuff that I have on Patreon, which is all like artistic nudity, nothing pornographic, is still considered adult content and sex work to the
Mm,
payment processor. Um, so yeah, and then like the stuff on OnlyFans obviously is a little bit more explicit and falls in that realm, but but yeah, so that's why I
okay.
use the term and also just trying to destigmatize the term.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. That's why I was like, I don't think you do anything that would constitute, some of the other stuff that may go on and be. Well, I don't know. It's now Patreon didn't initially start out that way. I mean, was that kind of more? I understand it was the pandemic kind of transitioned what Patreon was originally. How most of the
Uh,
content creators, or was it always
well, I started Patreon long before the pandemic, and I know like other freelance models that were on there long before I was on there, like when Patreon first launched. And so it always, I think, adult content creators, models, photographers, etc., like flock to those sites pretty quickly because there wasn't really a platform where they could share their work. 'Cause, like Instagram, everything's censored. Facebook,
right?
everything's censored. Tumblr was okay for a while until it went under, until it censored everything. Um, so yeah, I feel like they've always been there. There was definitely more like pornographic content on there in the
Mhm.
early days
Okay.
until Patreon. I mean, or I think because their payment processor is PayPal, or at least one of them is PayPal, and PayPal doesn't allow any type of nudity, even like artistic nudity or like nude photo shoots or anything
Right.
like that. So a lot of them got pushed there. And like I've had stuff.
Okay. So it seems like there's a little bit of a line in the sand that to kind of go a little further than certain things, I guess.
Mhm.
Which it's weird, is as we all know, one person's view of pornography or certain indecency or all these terms that people have that get and it's fine. Everyone has a different level of everything, but it's like everything else. You do your thing. You don't bother me as long as you're not hurting kids or kittens, and I will do my thing, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, that's pretty. That was pretty. Like I said, it was. I was hoping for I said people to engage and ask some of those questions regarding, uh, what it's like,
Mhm.
and like I said, I think it is, as you mentioned, very empowering, and and unfortunately we still live in a world of tearing people down
Yeah.
for the stupid. I totally I fell into a article that was posted by the Modern Drummer magazine about a whole Twitter feud that happened regarding, you've heard, the White Stripes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So and then so Jack and Meg, they were married and so forth. But so there's always been this whole big debate that she was a awful drummer. She didn't do anything special. She was not, and all these things. And it's like, she's not even in the band. She doesn't even do anything. She's not even married to him anymore. And it's like, okay, this is stuff from 10 years ago. Here we're digging up the conversation again. It's like, again, it's like, so I finally, and I usually don't want to get into the battlefield of a lot of social media debates and so forth. But it was like,
Yeah.
again, I think it's when you have to stand up, you should stand up. And I was like, all right, if Jack White is seen as a musical guy, what recognized 8-time Grammy winner. If he, if he's won Grammys, you would think he would know what he's talking about and what he wants to do musically. Then why would he had why then obviously that's something there that he had Meg be his drummer. And I'm like, again, here we love to tear everybody down. And again,
Yeah.
it's a lot of people that are butthurt and jealous,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what it's
Yeah.
all about. So, but yeah. So yeah, so like I said, I really appreciate the episode this week here that we dropped there in the interview between you and Nia, and again, Nia helping out and kind of changing up some of the content and so forth. So what do you got coming up in the near term here?
I'm going to be in Hawaii for two,
Ooh,
3 weeks, two
oh
weeks, two
wow,
and a half weeks, and then Bay Area for a week, and then I'm home for like 2 weeks, and then I'm road tripping with another model through Southwest and ending up in Texas for
cool,
like
cool.
whole month of May almost. And then June and July is kind of up in the air. I'll probably be on the East Coast during some of that. And then October, I'm doing an underwater photography workshop with a couple other models as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and
And
Florida.
in the fall, in Florida.
Yeah, end of October.
Okay. Well, I know you talked about in the podcast that you had some of your shoots canceled in Florida because of weather related stuff, and
Yeah,
I don't know if you know this, and I don't know if you want me to tell you this, but October is like the peak time for Florida to have hurricane. Yeah. So
yeah, I know. They've done it there a few years in a row though. October, so I guess they've had some good luck. It's kind of like the
we
end of though, right?
right, right, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like when summer officially, unofficially ends. Labor Day weekend is the unofficial end of summer. Everyone knows, but in Florida, September 20th is not really the end of summer for us, and because we can go, well, like this week, last week we were, geez, it was like we were hitting 90s the last
Summer.
few weeks. Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
but hopefully you don't come to Florida because everyone's talking about this big seaweed patch that's coming to invade
Yeah.
Florida. Yeah, so it's I don't know. You got crazy weather in California. You got crazy weather all over the U.S. and we're getting seaweed. So cool. So yeah, no, we definitely. I'd love to catch up with you when you come down and visit. Sometime just keep me posted. And, yeah, we're like I said, both me and I are in South Florida, so the south part of the state. So, um, yeah, West Palm, yeah, and she's a little closer to Fort Lauderdale, but was still within. It's only about a little over an hour, even down to Miami from West Palm. So,
Yeah.
but
I
yeah,
think I'm gonna be in that area end of June.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right, yeah, keep me posted. Keep me posted.
Ciao.
Cool. So I know you got to run. So or you hang as long as you want. I'm not tying you down. You know.
Yeah. Got it. Probably going like 5 minutes or so.
Okay.
Um,
So before you go though, so your recent content you just posted there, I know it was a little bit censored for Instagram posting and so forth. So that was that a requested content? Somebody requested that,
oh, the
or is that
pancake. The
yeah
pan.
the
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah. That was definitely a custom request.
okay
And he's actually been one of my, I guess you could say, clients for like many years.
okay
And so we do every year we put together, I make a calendar of like he like orders like a custom photo set and a video every month. And then at the end of the year we do a calendar. And one of the themes that has been recurring is like a breakfast at home theme, or like morning, like just rolling out of bed, making breakfast or having coffee kind of thing. Um Last year we did French toast and whipped cream. And yeah, so this year he didn't have any special requests, but I was cleaning out my pantry and I found like a 2 pound bag of pancake mix that was like 2 old. uh, about 10 pounds of pancakes and mashed.
oh my god. Yeah, I guess that like I think you should mention it was a little sticky, right?
Yeah, it was gross. I requested well, his only specific wish was that syrup was involved. I can't stand the smell of maple syrup because it doesn't leave, so caramel. So we constantly
Oh,
Sunday.
you, you definitely love what you do, and I guess again it's the customer. Is it the customer's always right or something
Yeah.
like
I have the last.
that? Oh, too funny. So, but yeah, no, I appreciate normally our full if you watch some of the other previous videos, our full happy hour again. I just so I'm in Orlando just real quick is I'm in Orlando. My boys are into robotics, so there's a big competition in Orlando at the UCF this weekend. So I'm trying to be a good dad and balance and juggle all these things and so forth. And yeah, so definitely try to do it all, but sometimes it doesn't work out. So, but very cool. But yeah, yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on. I think definitely uh, some of the thumbnails definitely got a lot of appealing, and hopefully you definitely dig the title of the podcast. I had quite a few people inquire about the obviously you saw the post that I had to put on Instagram was just to make sure I'm like, all right, the title of this podcast is not about me. Yeah, I'm sure somewhere along the line somebody would like to see me nude, but I'm sure not a whole lot. So I don't know. I don't know. I do. I told somebody, and I may have told you was, I do actually did register the handle on OnlyFans called Only Rums, and I got to send you a shirt, and it says Only Rums on it. So a lot of times people will see me wearing it, they'll look at me and like, wow, that's pretty brave. You're wearing an OnlyFans shirt. But then again, it's like one of those. They see it, they think it's something, and then they read it again, and then they realize what it says. But it's like, so when they give me this look, and I'm like, I know what you're thinking. It's not what you think. And again, of course, it's like pretty spot on. So I'm surprised I don't get sued yet by OnlyFans.
OnlyFans was actually not a content site. Like there's personal trainers and like chefs and like all kinds of stuff on there. So
Right.
people are always like have this, one idea of it, but literally anything can be on there.
Well, I mean, again, I mean, it's not a bad idea. I mean, I do have. Well, wait, hold on. Let me back up. Yeah, so I do have the Patreon page, but then I said maybe that's what I should just because I don't do rum reviews. Maybe I should start doing rum reviews. But then one of the brands that has been on the show. I won't name names, but has said something about like, oh, you should have it like have rum and you should have like girls and things. And I'm like, I don't think all rum brands would be into that. Some are kind of to your point, could be a little conservative in what they're trying to appeal to or sell to. And I said I have no problem with that idea. I'm cool with that idea, but I don't know if other other brands or many brands would be signing up for. I mean, I don't know. I guess I could do whatever I want. Nobody else.
Yeah.
So yeah, I use your product and with beautiful scantily clad women. Hey,
Like,
so right. Oh, too funny.
well,
So,
I keep playing, but thank
okay.
you again for having
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, Raven. I
Yeah.
promise to get that shirt out to you. I'm working on it. I'm so behind on a lot of stuff. So,
Oh.
I think. See you. Bye.
um, bye.
All right. So, yeah. So, again, if you're tuned in there, I appreciate everyone hanging out there with us. There, if you got any questions, hit me up in the chat there. We had it was great that um, Raven got a chance to join us here in the chat there previously. If you saw the live stream in the chat there of the premiere, um, she was hanging out with us, asked some questions. So hey Mia, how you doing? So sorry, just missed Raven there. Just real quick, we had a little chat there. Thanked her for coming on there. Thank you also Nia for holding down the fort. I guess to call it that on the podcast there with talking with Raven. I think it was a great guest that you brought on there. Again, I would bet as much as I said very hands off on turning the podcast over to you and to my rum diaries to kind of run it and pick the guest and do those things. So I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know if I would have been the one comfortable enough to reaching out. Only not because I wouldn't want to talk to her, but of course just awkwardness of this old guy reaching out to a good looking model. So but I appreciate you there because I think it was a very interesting episode podcast. She talked a lot of great stuff there for those that may want to know more about OnlyFans or modeling or what art modeling is. And she explained it real great. So I did mention that she is coming to Florida though. So I told her that we definitely have to meet up here with her when she's here in the next couple of months. We definitely have to meet up with Raven. So again, thanks for all for tuning in there. So again, hopefully, if you saw the live stream that we just did at 7 o'clock there Eastern time, if you just joining us and you missed it, you can go back and rewatch the video podcast with Nia and Raven on episode 133. or if you're more of an audio person, you check out the audio episode of the podcast. But we'll just kind of get to our quick into our. I'm obviously not in my studio there. You don't see the back, the bar, and the bottles of rum and the drums behind me here. So definitely come hang out. And so yes, love to support different kinds of. Yep. So I mean, it was awesome. Uh, I mean, I'm all about that support. I mean, I'm very open. I'm very uh, accepting. Again, love to learn new stuff, and that's I always say is I always love learning stuff from my guests or our guests. I guess, and and learning new things. Right. That's how do you not grow without opening yourself up to being learning from people that you may not look like you, walk like you, talk like you. You don't grow, you don't open yourself up and things like that and be very open-minded as opposed to narrow-minded. So again, I know I'm not wearing green today. I know this the title of the episode was that we're all a little green. And obviously St. Patty's Day tomorrow, so be careful tomorrow. I know there's gonna be a lot of drinking going on. Uh, Make sure you drive safe, get your Uber, get your green beer, have a safe time. I mean, geez, St. Patty's Day on a Friday. Well, at least you get Saturday off. So again, you're not calling in sick or not feeling well day, need a PTO day after St. Patty's Day. So at least you got that day. But as I mentioned, I'm out of town today with the family there. We got a robotics competition, so we're doing this live stream here from the beautiful hotel room of the in Orlando here, and we'll go through a couple of our things that we normally do. So hopefully, uh, so we're going to go ahead since we're still on our March for Women's Month here. We do have a women's a Florida woman's story, and I do actually have a drum story I want to share with you that just recently happened in here in South Florida. All right, so here we go. I don't have all my fancy graphics, but here we go. This is our Florida woman story. Florida woman found sleeping with gun in lap at gas station, sheriff says. Brooksville, Florida. Investigators in Central Florida found a woman asleep at the wheel of her car at a gas pump with a firearm in her lap. It began when a clerk at a 7-Eleven in Brooksville noticed the vehicle had been stopped at the gas pump for more than 45 minutes last Wednesday. The clerk called Hernando County Sheriff's Office. The first deputy on scene found the driver, identified 30-year-old Nicole Pelican, fast asleep. In addition to the gun, the deputy saw two glass pipes nearby, which are often used to smoke narcotics. Deputies removed Pelican from the car and searched it. The sheriff's office said deputies found a small baggie with 20 grams of crystal like substance in her backpack. The substance field tested positive for methamphetamine. Yeah, if you saw the picture of her, she looks a bit rough, unfortunately. The sheriff's office said Pelican had a valid concealed weapons permit. Authorities did not say whether the gun was loaded. Pelican is facing charges of possession of methamphetamine and drug equipment. Deputies booked her to Hernando County Detention Center. She's been released on bond at $16,000. So I don't know. I love to know more of the story here. What happened? Obviously, she's got a concealed carry permit, which she's probably going to lose that concealed carry permit now because if she was busted with narcotics, I think that's pretty much you'll lose. There's very strict on those concealed permits. But then again, this is Florida. Day by day, I have no idea what's going on around here anymore. You can do whatever the hell you want. But yeah, so that is definitely a story there. So there's our cheers. I am drinking at least Guinness tonight. So I don't, like I said, I don't have any green beer, but that'll be tomorrow. So I am drinking Guinness. So cheers to you, Nicole Pelican, there for sleeping and falling asleep at the gas station, at 7-Eleven early in the morning, and make sure you hide your crack pipes or your methamphetamine pipes while you fall asleep. So, cheers. All right. So real quick here, we got another story here we're going to go back to is about Rick Allen. So those of you in South Florida may know the story, may have heard it on the news, but I think Def Leppard and Motley Crue are getting ready to come to South Florida, or maybe they just played. I don't know. I don't follow them that much anymore. Def Leppard drummer assaulted outside a Fort Lauderdale hotel after band plays concert. So maybe they did play. All right, the drummer from the legendary rock group Def Leppard was assaulted Monday night at Fort Lauderdale Hotel. He was staying at following a show in South Florida, according to a published report. Rick Allen, 59, was standing in the Valley area at the Four Seasons Hotel having a cigarette when another man ran up and attacked him. Miami television SVN reported. A report provided by the Fort Lauderdale Police Department states that Max Edward Hartley, 19, of Avon, Ohio, was arrested on charge of abuse of an elderly or disabled adult with great harm. I wonder if he would Rick Allen really consider himself that? I mean, I guess if he fits that category, elderly, is he? Oh, I guess I don't wouldn't 59, is that considered elderly? So, or is it a because he's disabled? The police report does not identify Allen by name, but does note the victim of the attack lost his left arm in a traffic accident in '84, which we all know. And Allen is an English-born drummer who joined Def Leppard in 1978 and was injured in a New Year's crash. One second here. I got housekeeping knocking on my door here. So one second. Who is it? Who is it? Oh, so all right. So anyway, so here they're here for their stuff. Housekeeping. So see, I got people. I got intruders breaking into my hotel room here. So yeah. So let me finish reading my story. The police report does not identify Allen by name, but notes that the victim of the attack lost his left arm. Okay, I already said all that. He continued to perform with Def Leppard using a specially designed drum kit. The band rose to fame with hit songs such as Photograph and Pour Some Sugar on Me, the ultimate stripper song we all know. If you've ever been to a strip club, you've heard that song many times. I wish I wrote that song. It would have been making me lots of money. Allen was in South Florida as Def Leppard performed Sunday at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel Casino in Hollywood, and the show co-headlined by the '80s band Motley Crue. That's what I thought they were playing here, but I don't know. They, Tommy Lee's been posting everything about on Instagram. He's like in South America, so I don't know what's going on. According to the Fort Lauderdale police report, Hartley hid behind a pole before before running at full speed and striking Allen, knocking him backward and causing him to fall and hit his head. When a woman came out to help Allen, Hartley attacked, knocked her to the ground as well. As the woman tried to escape into the hotel, Hartley reportedly grabbed her by the hair and dragged her out of the lobby and back into the sidewalk before fleeing the area. He was caught a short time later after he was seen damaging vehicles in the parking garage at a nearby hotel, police reported. The report did not indicate a motive for the attacks. Hartley faces 2 counts of battery and 4 counts of criminal mischief and did not take any questions as he posted bail Tuesday at the Broward County Jail. So there you go. That's an interesting one. I would not think that Rick Allen would have, or even if he stayed at the Four Seasons, you've got this kind of what's going on at the Four Seasons. Really? I wonder what it had to be. Must have been late at night. Obviously, it said Monday night. Um, so I don't know. So that was kind of some interesting news there. Rick Allen get attacked in Fort Lauderdale at the Four Seasons Hotel. That's like I said, I would love to know where that Four Seasons is because like I said that's not good. If you're at Four Seasons, you're paying a lot of money to be at the Four Seasons. It's not cheap. So well, there you go. There you have it. We got some drum news as well too with Def Leppard's Rick Allen getting beat up, waiting for his I guess ride outside and for the day. So anyway, so again, I appreciate y'all tuning in there. Again, it's a quick little 30 minutes. We're going to stick to 30 minutes on this one. We're going to short it a little early here before 8:30 because we did start earlier. So we're almost right at 2. So one big news I wanted to throw out there was we've got a trip coming up. Again, if you're a Patreon subscriber, you already know about this trip. I already posted on Patreon about the trip that I've got coming up probably in a week from tomorrow. So on the 25th, we're going to be traveling up to Oregon and we're going to go visit John Hasbrook from Just Rum. So he's opening up a tasting room. So we're going to go up there and visit him and welcome in his new tasting room. I know he's very excited. He's a great guy. He's been working really hard to go full time into his rum, making, distilling. So really looking forward to it. I am going from South Florida to the Pacific Northwest, and it's going to be a little chilly, I guess. So it's a good thing I've got a couple of my drums and rums beanies. If you guys are interested, I do have some. Um, and I will have to keep my noggin warm. So, but yeah, so looking forward to it. And so don't worry, Nia. Yes, I'll bring you some rum back. Bring you some stuff and keep you posted about it. So that will be next weekend. So I don't know. We got a lot going on. And as we all know, between trying to tape podcasts, trying to get guests, trying to book guests, trying to do all sorts of things. I got spring break coming up with the kids. A lot of crazy stuff going on. But tune in next Thursday So before this trip, next Thursday, a week from today, we will be doing our monthly bingo. So again, if you want to play bingo, win some of the prizes, Siri was our recent winner. That she posted all the stuff that she got. She actually, I was behind on getting some of the stuff out to her, so she got some vanilla. So she got some vanilla, a 10 pack vanilla of the different rums that we've used in our vanilla, as well as some of the other stuff too. So again, if you want to play bingo, just go become the at least entry level on Patreon, or at least Cash App if you want to do a one time there. We do have that option too if you want. It just again it helps cover costs of the shipping and sending that kind of stuff out there. But so next week, what is today? 24th, 6th, 23rd. 23rd, we'll be doing our monthly bingo on over on the YouTube. So I'll be back in the studio hopefully, and we'll be doing our bingo night there. Going to do it, and then again the next morning I'll be getting up and going to flying to Oregon. So again, a lot going on. I appreciate y'all for tuning in here. I appreciate y'all hanging out here. I appreciate all those of you who hung out in the chat there with me and I and Raven. Watching the live premiere of her podcast episode. Um, Yes, appreciate it again. So again, let's just be careful tomorrow. I know it's St. Patty's Day. Everybody turns into an Irish person on St. Patty's Day. Hey, King of Sanity. Yeah, my grandmother wears edible adult diapers. That's pretty interesting. Um, what flavor? I'm interested. Now you've got me pulled into it. But again, everybody turns Irish on St. Patty's Day. So just be careful. Make sure you got a designated driver, Uber. But just be careful out there. Again, unfortunately, these are one of the holidays or events that becomes an amateur hour. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in there. We did our Florida woman story of the week here. Check out that story if you just watch the replay if you just missed it there. We also had a drum story too. We talked about an upcoming trip there. Let the cat out of the bag, and then also I told you about next week's bingo, and I'm not quite sure yet what next week's podcast is, who's going to be, or what it's going to be. You're just going to have to see where we end up. So I thank you all for tuning in here. Have a great weekend. Have a great St. Patty's Day. And I will see you all next week. Cheers, y'all.